everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel, this is Stitched Up. So today I thought I would share with you my March makes. March has been a really busy month for me. However, as usual, I haven't made everything that I said I was going to do, and there are a few makes in here that were just spontaneous things because I tend to be quite spontaneous. And although I like to plan what I'm going to do and be a bit sort of organised, sometimes I just do the, I see a pattern and I've got some fabric and think, do you know what, I want to make that. A lot of it is weather dependent as well. There was a couple of things that I said I was going to do that I haven't done because the weather has either been too cold or too warm, or I'm thinking it's spring now and it's getting better, and this dress that I was going to do isn't going to be seasonally appropriate anymore. So, and then I make a pair of shorts and then it starts raining again and gets really cold and we're told it's going to snow. So anyway, that's enough of me waffling. Let's get on with what I've been up to. So the first thing that you can probably see in this video is this really lovely dress here. So let me just find the pattern. So this dress is Very Easy Vogue V9253, which is this pattern here. Excuse my chipped nail polish, by the way. Yeah, so this dress has been very, very popular over on Instagram and also on YouTube. There's been a few people that have made this now, including the very lovely Rachel from She Sews Vintage, and she's one half of the Stitch Sisters with Nikki. So she made an absolutely beautiful version of this dress. I will put a link to it down below, but I think it was linked in my previous video anyway. And yeah, the thing about this dress is that it's got an extremely low cut V. It goes down to the waist, and it really does go down to the waist. So when I made this is obviously my version out of some really lovely viscose that I got from the Textile Centre. I do think they've still got this, so I will put a link to it. And it's got a tie waist. There's no it's just basically a slip on over your head, and there's no other ties to. Oh, is there a, no, sorry, there is. Is there a zip in the back? Yes, there is a zip in the back. Yeah, so it's got an invisible zipper in the back, tie waist, and it does go down on the pattern. As you can see, it goes down right. The V at the front goes right down to your waist. However, what I did was I closed the waist seam up higher because it was just too low cut for me. Might be fine when you're on holiday, but I want to wear this to a birthday party that I'm going to tomorrow actually, and it was just too low cut. So I stitched up the V to a more respectable, modest level for me. It's got pockets in the side seams here, so I will put some pictures in of me wearing it. I've just got to hem it because it's just a little bit too long at the minute. I did lengthen the bodice and the skirt for me. I did my usual adjustments, which is about an inch on the bodice and a good couple of inches on the length. However, I don't think I actually needed that much on the length because it's way beyond the floor at the minute, so I do need to hem that. But it was a very, very easy make. Really, really happy with it. It looks gorgeous on, it feels lovely on. I think it's going to be fantastic for the summer. So yeah, so that's my first make. Okay, so next up is another Vogue pattern that I made this month. This was one of my spontaneous makes, which is Vogue V9075, which is this pattern here, which is a jumpsuit or a dress. Now it's a princess seamed bodice with pleats in the skirt or the jumpsuit, and obviously you can alter the length to fit you. It's got an invisible zipper in the back. Those are the style lines there. And again, I've seen a few really nice versions of this, and with it being princess seam bodice, it should be really easy to fit you. So I made this out of some really lovely crepe georgette that I'd got in my stash, and this is the result here. I've lined it just with some cotton, put a pink invisible zipper in the back. I'm really pleased with how that zip's gone in. The zip is obviously just here, but you can't really see it. Obviously, I haven't pattern matched it. There's a loose thread there, by the way. But, you know, it's really floaty on the bottom half. I was a little bit worried because this georgette is quite see-through, but because of the pleats and the voluminousness, if that's such a word, of the trouser portion, I yeah, I thought I could get away with it, and I can. So again, I'll put some pictures in of me wearing it. Yeah, really happy with this. It is a little bit tight on the bodice. I did do a size 10 bodice and waist, and then graded out to a 12 in the hips. And I think the 12 would probably be just a touch too big because it should be fitted. But I think what I'll probably do is when I make this again, I'll do it in a 10 top, but I will just do 3/8 of an inch seams rather than 5/8, and I think that'll just give me just a little bit more wiggle room. So yeah, I'm definitely going to make this again. I was thinking about doing a sew along tutorial for this. Let me know in the comments if you would like that. I think again it's going to be gorgeous to wear in summer, so yeah, really happy with that one. I decided to have a go at pattern hacking this month. Now, this top that I've got on now is just a ready to wear top, but it's very similar to the Tilly and the Buttons Agnes. Now, I have made that before, and what I wanted to do was, I really like the Closet Case Patterns Netty bodysuit. I'll put a link to that so you can have a look at that here just now. But I thought, but I'm not a huge bodysuit fan, although I have made one, which I'll show you in a little while. But I thought what I wanted to do was hack the Agnes top to make a scoop back. So had a little go at that, and this is the result. So basically what I've done is I have, what's the word? Raised the front neckline to make it higher, so it comes to about here, and then I've lowered the back neckline and then redrafted a new neckband. I've made this elbow length sleeves. It's just out of some plain black viscose jersey. I've got loads of this fabric. I think I must have about 5 meters. I can't remember where I got it from, so I'm really sorry, but I thought it's perfect to just have a go at having a go at pattern hacking. I'll put some pictures in of me wearing it, but I'm a little bit disappointed with the scoop back, only because I wanted it a lot lower. So I wanted it really to come out how the netty bodysuit does, where it's really just below, just above your bra line. So I'm going to have another go at it, but I'm quite pleased with how it's turned out. I like how the neckline at the front is raised, and yeah, it's just a nice basic top really. So I'm going to have a go at that again, and I will wear this, and I'm going to make another one. And yeah, I think it's one of those patterns that's really versatile for you to have a go at, just altering the neckline, etc. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how that went out. It's the first time I've actually had a proper hack at a pattern. So yeah, so I'm quite pleased with that. Also this month, I'm sure you're aware, the Tilly and the Buttons stretch book came out, which I've got a copy of here. Now I'm basically love Sewing magazine. I've been a subscriber for a couple of years, and my subscription was due up, so the current offer for the free gift with Love Sewing is actually the new Tilly and the Buttons stretch book, so I'll put a link to that if you're interested. But I was very lucky in I got this as my free subscription copy. So I'm sure you've all seen it. I'm not going to do a review on it because there are loads of reviews out there on YouTube. But basically it's a book for, I think it's more aimed at beginners, which is fantastic. Tilly's instructions are very, very clear and thorough, which is brilliant. It's exactly what beginners need. So there's lots and lots of good tips in here. But there's some really lovely patterns. Now I've made a couple of patterns out of this book this month. They're very, very quick, very simple and straightforward. The first one that I really was interested in, which seems to be very, very popular amongst everybody, was the Freya, which is this one here. Now this again is a hackable pattern that you can, it's got, I really love this frill across the top, but I've not made that version as yet. But I did decide to have a go at making it because I really like the mock neckline. I'm just trying to find a picture of it here to show you. Yeah, this version here. So it's got a really nice sort of mock neckline, if you can see that there. And I made it out of some knit fabric, some spot knit fabric that I had in my stash. Again, I'm sorry, I don't know where I got this from or if you can get any more. There's a few loose threads on here, so I'm just going to try and hide those so you don't see them. But yeah, this is my version here. Okay, so it's supposed to be elbow length sleeves. I didn't lengthen the sleeves, but it's more short sleeve length for me. It's got quite a few loose threads on here. But yeah, I really like how this neckline is. Again, I'll put some pictures of me wearing it. I put a couple of pictures of me on Instagram when I made this last weekend. It was really quick and simple. As I say, this is like, it's a bit like a sweatshirt fabric. I don't know if you can see. And inside it's like a waffle texture. So the only thing with this fabric, what I would say, is that it's not got great recovery. And it does tend to bag out a bit when you've worn it. So, but yeah, I'm really happy with it. I will be making this again, but I'm going to lengthen the sleeves a little bit because I prefer sort of this sleeve length, elbow length or 3/4. But yeah, I'm really happy with that. And the other thing that I've made out of this book is the BB skirt. Now, I'm just trying to find a picture of that to show you as well. Okay. Where are we? Yeah, so this is the BB skirt there, which is basically a very straightforward knit pencil skirt that's panelled with just a plain neckband on, and there's lots of ideas for hacking that as well. There's also a pinafore version, if that's your kind of thing. Yeah, so that's the pinafore version there. Now, that's not really my thing, but I had some excuse me, I can't speak. I had some leftover scuba in my stash from when I made a dress last year, and some plain blue ponte, so I decided to put those together, and I've got the skirt on now. So this is it here. I'll just move back so you can see it. Okay, so it comes to just below the knee. This took me about half an hour to make altogether, and it fits really nicely. I think I cut a size 3 waist and graded out to a 5 hip, and I lengthened the skirt by a couple of inches, and it's just lovely. It's just really nice for, I think it's really slimming. Obviously I'm pear-shaped, I've got hips and a bit of a butt, and I just think with the darker panels at the side, it's just really flattering, makes me look slimmer, which is always a nice thing. And yeah, it's just lovely. It's just lovely to throw on. I think it'd be nice with just a plain white t-shirt or even a navy one, and I can see me making lots more of those. So again, it was very straightforward, and really happy with that. So that's the only 2 things that I've made out of that book so far. I also really like the Joni dress, and which is the lovely Tilly's wearing that in all her pregnant glory there. I like the twist front, and I think this would be really nice for spring. So I've got some striped fabric in my stash, so I think I'm going to have a go at that next month. Okay, so moving on. Now, I also said in my March plans video that I was going to have a go at this pattern, which is Simplicity 8513, which is this here. Now, I really liked this version with the cutout shoulders, and again, this has got a mock neckline, very similar to the Freya top, and obviously it's bodysuit with poppers in the crotch. There's lots of different versions on here. I do like this crossover bodice version as well, and I like this one and this one with the ties. I'm not quite sure about these sleeves because I think they'll just get in the way when you're eating, which I love to eat, so yeah, that probably won't be any good for me. But yeah, really like this. So again, out of this same jersey that I made the Agnes hack top out of, I had to go at that bodysuit. Now, this is the result in here. I'm just struggling with the zip. It's got an invisible zip in the back, which in that jersey was a nightmare, but oh god, I can't get the zip to work. There we go. So yeah, so this is the result. I know you can't see this very well, but I will put some pictures of me wearing it. I'm really pleased with how the zip has gone in the back. There's a little bit of a pucker at the bottom there, but as I say, it was very difficult. I should use some stabilizer. It's got elastic round the it's, you know, the invisible elastic. They're very, oh gosh, yeah, invisible. Is it invisible elastic? It's like knicker elastic. It's really thin, clear elastic. That's it. Yeah, and a couple of poppers in the crotch. Now, I lengthened this pattern by 2 inches because I'm very long in the body and it's still too short. It basically cuts me in two. Sorry if that's too much information. So what I'm going to have to do with this, to be honest, because I just can't wear it as it is because it's just too uncomfortable. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to cut it off and make this into a top. And because I do really like how it fits everywhere else, I think it's quite nice for an evening out, that kind of thing. And I'm going to obviously alter the pattern and make it even longer. I think I need at least another 1.5 inches in the body. So if you are tall like me or you are quite long in the body, then I would just warn you that, yeah, it is very short. Well, yeah, it's quite short in the body. I know Shan from Kittenish Behaviour has made this. She's made the tie, with the ties in the neck version, and she normally lengthens her bodices as well, but she found it okay. So yeah, so I'm not sure, but I must just be really, really long, longer than I thought in the body. But this is the first bodysuit that I'd made, and as I say, I've got tons of this fabric, so it was a bit of a wearable toil anyway. But yeah, I'm happy with the basic design and how it came together. It was fairly straightforward, but as I say, I'm going to have to cut this off and wear it as a top. So that's that one. What I will put a picture of me wearing that top with is these gorgeous trousers that I made. This was in my plans for March. So this is McCall's M7726 pattern here, with different options for trousers. You can have sort of slimmer fit ones, wide leg. These ones are cropped, and then shorts versions as well, and they've all got paper bag waist. I've made the wide leg versions here, and these out of some really lovely pink shimmery linen fabric that I bought from Minerva Crafts. So these are the trousers here. They've got gorgeous pockets in the front, both sides here, really lovely tie waist, zip fly at the front, which was really, really easy. It's probably one of the easiest flies that I've ever done, actually. Really, the instructions were really good. Really wide-legged, and I'll put some pictures of me wearing them, and I'm absolutely in love with these trousers. They are so, so comfortable. I just think they're really, really gorgeous, really flattering, and I love them. Really, really love them. So I'm definitely going to be making more of these. I might make the shorts versions, I might make the thinner leg version, but they're just going to be fantastic for summer. So I've made these quite long, and the only alteration I did to the pattern was I dropped the crotch by 1/2 inch, which I've discovered from making a few pairs of trousers recently that is one of my yeah, I have to do that in most kinds of trousers just to make them a little bit more comfortable. So yeah, really, really happy with those, how they've turned out. And yeah, they're absolutely gorgeous. Love them. There's a dress pattern called the Cocoon dress. I will put a picture of it up here. This was a pattern that was a freebie with a magazine, and I'm not sure which magazine it was. I think it might be Sew magazine. Last year, I think is it a simple sew pattern? I'm not quite sure, but I will put a picture of it here, and it's been incredibly popular. It's just a basic cocoon dress. That's why it's called a cocoon dress. And yeah, it's been really, really popular. Now, last year when I had a holiday in Cornwall, and I went into the Seasalt store in Padstow, and I don't know if you know, I'm showing you the result here, that Seasalt sell fabric that they produce their clothes out of, and every so often the clothes are quite expensive. Well, they are for me, but I do like some of them. I think they're really, really unique, really different. And the fabric, it's great that you can buy the fabric. It tends to work out roughly about £5 a metre, and you can buy it in either 1 metre, 3 metres or 5 metre lengths, which I just think is great. And I really do think that lots more shops should do this. Lots more clothing shops it would be fantastic if you could buy the fabric rather than the actual garment, so you can make your own. Now I bought this gorgeous it's like a crepe fabric it's like a crepe voile, actually. It's a bit like cotton voile, but it's got a crepey texture to it. It's really nice. And I bought 3 meters of this last year, and while I was on holiday, and I think it cost me £25. And out of that £25, I made the Sew Over It Alex shirt dress, which I'll put a link to somewhere along here. And I had enough left over to make this dress, and I've still got a little bit left that I'm going to make like a, you know, like a scarf, you know, a wraparound scarf type thing. So, which just a lightweight one for summer, I think will be nice. So I've made the Cocoon dress out of this this fabric. This is it here. It's got a V-neck. Now on the pattern it has a seam down the centre, but I didn't want to interrupt the pattern placement of the seagulls on this fabric, so I just omitted that seam by tracing the pattern and removing the seam allowance and then cutting the front piece on the fold. It's really straightforward and easy to do. I didn't have enough to put pockets in, and to be honest, the side seam pockets on this dress, and because it's quite loose fitting, and as I've mentioned before, I'm quite hippie, I always think side seam pockets on dresses just tend to just stick out just a little bit on my widest part and make me look even wider. So I didn't put the pockets in, and I'm quite pleased with how this has come out. I think it's just a really nice, very simple dress, which will be just lovely for holidays or really hot sunny days that we are going to get this year in the UK. It's going to be a hot summer. I can feel it. I just know that it is. So yeah, so I'm really pleased with that. Have a look at Seasalt website. As I say, they've got various different fabrics now. They do needle cords as well, and lots of different types of cotton. I'm not sure if they do viscose. I'm not sure if they do jersey, actually. I know a few people have been asking if they're going to ever do jersey, but every so often, as I say, they have a sale on, and I did get some just before Christmas, I think, or just after Christmas in the sale. So it's always worth subscribing to their newsletter, because they'll let you know about any sales, that kind of thing. So yeah, so I've made that as well. Okay, so moving on, when I purchased the pink linen viscose fabric from Minerva Crafts that I made the trousers out of, I also purchased the gorgeous twinkle fabric from Atelier brunette, and I said I was going to make an Astoria. I have done. This is it here. Used my twin needle on my new machine to do the sleeves and around the neckline and the bottom hem. And yeah, I lengthened this. This is obviously a cropped sweater by Seamwork, and although it's cropped, it's a little bit too cropped for me because obviously I'm quite tall, as I said, so I lengthened it by about 1.5 inches, I think. And yeah, really happy with this. Yeah, just a nice simple Astoria. And the other thing that I made, I purchased Simplicity 8529, which is here. We've had some really cold weather in the UK, even leading into spring. It's still a bit hit and miss, but obviously earlier this month I still wanted to make jumpers to keep warm, and basically this was a collaboration between Simplicity and Sew House 7 that make the toaster sweater. So it's very similar to the toaster sweater. So there's 4 different versions on here. You can have like the I'm not quite sure what you call this neck. Is it a funnel neck with the side seam splits and a high-low hem? What else is there on there? There's just like a plain jumper type there. There's one here that looks a bit like the grain line linden, and it's got a hemband around the bottom. I think you can see a little bit better on the style lines just on here, and I got this in the last Simplicity sale a few months ago. So I've made a couple of versions of this. The first one, out of the Ponte Roma that I used for the side seams of the BB skirt that I'm wearing, this was the first one that I made. So I bought this Ponte from Fabworks in Dewsbury. It's £3 a metre. It was really reasonable, and I think I got 3 meters of it. So I made this. Now the only thing you shouldn't do with this is stitch the neckline down like I've done there. I don't know if you can see that. I've done it at the front and the back, and yeah, that was a bit of an error, but it's got hembands on the sleeves, and I also put the band around the bottom. I lengthened the sleeves by about 1.5 inches because I do need I've got long arms, and I am really happy with this. I'm just a little bit disappointed that I did that. Again, this is me not reading the instructions properly, so read the instructions properly, guys. So yeah, but otherwise it's really nice and cozy, and it was lovely. I think I made the size small in this. I do think Simplicity patterns run a little bit big, to be honest, because I'm quite broad shouldered, I'm not a small, but this is really loose. So but yeah, really nice jumper. I made a second version of this, but I did the version that is on the main picture at the front with the high-low hem. So I wanted to make this more tunic length. Now this time I didn't stitch down the front, which you can see, and I made this out of some really lovely knit fabric that I purchased from the Textile Centre. I got this last year, so I don't think they've still got this colourway in stock, but I do think they've got some others, so I'll put a link to it if I can see it. Again, a sleeve band on the front. It's got a high-low hem. As you can see, I've got it the wrong way round, so that's the front there, and I really lengthened the bodice on this because I wanted to wear it with leggings, so I'll put some pictures of me wearing that in up here as well. But yeah, this is just gorgeous. It's been really nice to wear on the really cold days, so yeah, really happy with that. And the final thing that I've made for myself this month is a pair of shorts. Now I did these yesterday because yeah, the weather has been quite nice recently in the last few days, and then we're supposed to be getting some cold weather again this weekend. But I'm optimistic that it's going to be shorts weather soon. So these shorts are the it's by an independent pattern company called Runway. They've been around a few years now. When I first got into sewing in about 2014, they were one of the first indie companies that I purchased patterns from, and they do have some really, really lovely patterns, so I'll put a link to them. But these are the shorts that they do, which are called the sweet shorts. I'll put a picture of them of the actual pattern up here so you can have a look. And I've made these shorts here out of some navy blue twill. They do need washing because they've had, as I say, I only finished these yesterday, and they've got chalk marks on them and all sorts. So they are, they've got like a scallop at the front here. I've just catch stitched the hems in at the minute, and I'm not sure that I'm completely happy with it, so I'm going to have to just look at that. But they're more or less finished. They've got the top stitch down the front, top stitch waistband. They've got a side invisible zip, which is just there. I'm quite pleased how that's gone in. Front pockets at the front. They also have welts at the back, welt pockets. Now these, you can see my welts are just, I'm not very good at doing welt pockets at all, and there's lots of puckers on these. And I've actually, the instructions, I'll be honest, are not completely clear, and I messed up attaching these welt pockets inside, so I have basically stitched these down, and they're not going to be usable because you could see inside the raw edges and it just didn't look right. So they fit really, really nicely, and I'll put some pictures of me wearing them. So I'm really happy with how these have turned out. As I say, you can top stitch the hem down, but I wanted to leave the sort of clean finish, so I'm going to have to just go around and stitch these up a little bit better, I think, because otherwise that hem's just going to drop down. So yeah, I've still got to finish these off, but otherwise I am really happy with these. I really love the style because I just think that it's really unique and different and not something that you normally see. I did make a version of these when I got into sewing a few years ago. I made them in white, and they were just awful, to be honest. As I say, because when I look back now and read the instructions, they're not always 100% clear. And you do really have to read the instructions and really think about what you're doing. So yeah, so I wouldn't advise these as your first pair of shorts. There are quite a few pattern pieces to them. The pockets are made up of 4 pieces. If I just sort of open that a little bit, you can see there's 2 pieces on the back pocket and 2 pieces on the front pocket. And I think that's so that if you want to use more expensive fashion fabric, and the internal bit of the pocket can just be out of a different fabric, a lining fabric, or if you want to just do a contrast. But obviously when the pockets are tucked in, the facing bit that shows is still out of your fashion fabric. So I think that's the reason why. But as I say, and obviously the front pieces are 2 pieces, the back is just 1, but there's lots of pieces to the welt pockets. I guess you could leave those off if you wanted, and maybe even just put patch pockets on the back, or just not have any. But yeah, when I made these before, when I first started sewing, they were a disaster, to be honest. They didn't fit properly. Again, there are lengthen and shorten lines on this pattern, and this time I did lengthen the pattern by, I think I did 3/4 of an inch, just to obviously give me a little bit more crotch depth through, and that worked out really well. I could probably actually do with a little bit less. They're just a little bit too low, I think. Maybe 1/2 an inch would be better, but I am really happy with these, and I'm going to make another white pair for spring and summer. So that's all the makes for me this month. Now, I have done a little bit of unselfish sewing as well. The fabric that I bought to make those shorts out of, I actually bought them to make my son, who's 15, some shorts for summer, which is why I got 3 meters. Now, I got that off eBay. It was only £5 a meter. So I'll put a link to where I got that from down below, so you can have a look if you're interested. It's 100% cotton twill, and it's got a really nice feel to it. And basically my son, who's 15, he won't wear shorts that come to even just his knee. He wants the longer length that are just below his knee, Bermuda short style. Now, last summer we had a nightmare trying to actually find any, because in the shops that style just wasn't in the shops, basically. So I was looking around for patterns. I've not made anything for my son before, because as I say, he's 15. He's getting into being quite particular about what he wears, and yeah, I was a little bit... Boys are difficult to sew for anyway, because I think the patterns that are available just aren't as good for boys as they are for girls. But anyway, I picked up this birder pattern, this one, okay, because it's got 3 options of shorts here. You can have just plain shorts, or you can have some with patch pockets on that are longer, they've got a band around the bottom, and then there's also some with the sort of like cargo pant type shorts. They've got elasticized waist. So I showed him this pattern. He was quite, yeah, he liked this pattern. So I made him a pair of, I did this version here with the pockets on the front and the bands at the bottom, which I think is this version here. And these are the results here. Now, I haven't got a picture of him modelling them, but as you can see, I've just had to get these out of his wardrobe, because I washed and ironed them yesterday, and then I've just found them screwed up in his wardrobe. So I'm really sorry that they're a little bit creased. But basically, it's got 3 channels for elastic in the waist, which was fairly easy to do, to be fair. And the pockets in the front, which are basically just stitched onto the front. A little bit of top stitching. It's got a fake fly on the front. Don't know if you can see that. And then the bands attached to the bottom. There's no pockets on the back, but you can put some on. I think there is a pattern piece for rear pockets. And these come to, the sizing was really, really good. He's really happy with these. And yeah, he's asked me to make him another pair. So I think he wants me to make him the ones with the cargo style ones here. So I think I'm going to make those. He wants them in khaki, so I'm going to try and get hold of some khaki fabric and make him a pair of those. So I'm really, really happy with those. The one thing I have noticed about sewing for boys is, in many ways, it's easier, because the fabrics are always quite sturdy fabrics generally, unless you're doing t-shirts, I guess. But they don't have curves like women, so it's straightforward. You know, straight up and down. Trousers, easy for boys. So yeah. So that's my final make for this month. Okay, now we've got through all that. So yeah, so it's been really busy, really productive. I'm really, really pleased with everything. As I say, there's a couple of things that I haven't actually done this month. One of the things, which I'll just show you, just hang on 1 second, which I said last month I was going to do, was this pattern, McCall's M7682. I was going to make this dress out of some tartan fabric. Now, I've got it cut out, but I haven't made it up because the weather's been changing, and I'm thinking, do I want to make that up now when I'm probably not going to wear it until later on in the year? So I haven't done that one yet. And I also haven't done the cherry print viscose dress that I was going to do as well. So I haven't had time, because I just got swayed by Tilly's new book. What can I say? Okay, guys. that's enough from me today. My next video that's coming up will probably be my April plans, and in that I'm taking part in the A Little Lawn Party challenge that's on Instagram. I'll put a link to that down below. That's run by the lovely Mel from Handmade by Ditsy Tulip and Atelier from, is it Bright Little Blooms, Little Bright Blooms? I'm really sorry if I've said that wrong. I'm going to take part in that. So in my next video I will share with you the fabric and the pattern that I've chosen, and I'm going to get that made up in April, I believe. That challenge runs up until May, which is just to choose your own pattern and fabric to make a dress out of preferably lawn or that type of fabric that you would wear in spring at a lawn party. So I thought that was quite a nice challenge. I'm also going to be looking at the Sew Together for Summer challenge, which has just been released for this year, and this year it's wrap dresses, so there are a couple of patterns that I've got in mind for that, so I'll probably be sharing that in my next video as well. So that's it from me today. Enjoy the rest of your Easter break, everybody, and I will speak to you again soon. Okay, bye.